Jeff Rowthorn for Get Out There magazine, and I'm in Grande Cache, Alberta for the Canadian Death Race.
The Canadian Death Race, now in its 19th year, is a 125-kilometer notoriously difficult trail race in Grande Cache, Alberta. The course starts and ends on a 4,200-foot plateau and requires participants to pass over 3 mountain summits with a total of over 17,000 feet of elevation change. There's also a river crossing in the late stages of the race. In addition to the elevation, runners are also challenged with the mud, altitude, unpredictable weather that can change in an instant, and of course wildlife, including black bears, grizzly bears, and mountain lions, just to name a few. The course is broken up into 5 distinct legs. Runners can either complete the race as a solo death racer or as a relay team with up to 5 participants. This was my 3rd time at the Canadian Death Race, but there were some significant changes made to the course, which is now even more difficult than the last time I completed the race. Leg 1 is the easiest leg of the race and begins with about 6 kilometers of pavement and a net elevation loss of around 500 feet. It's a great way to warm up and calm the nerves before tackling 2 major climbs that runners are faced with in Leg 2. Reports before the race indicated that the course was extremely wet this year after significant rainfall in the weeks leading up to the race. Participants who sign up for this event need to be prepared for just about anything, including heat stroke during the day and hypothermia late in the night, which is what I dealt with the first year I ran the race. Leg 2 is difficult. In fact, I think it's the hardest leg of the course. The elevation change is well over 6,000 feet, and the section between the 2 mountain summits is just nasty.
Currently on Leg 2, we are climbing Flood Mountain. We've been going up like this for about an hour and 15 minutes. Still have quite a bit to go, but the scenery here is beautiful. Having fun so far.
The Billy Goat Trail leading up to the Flood Mountain summit is very steep, but the view from the top most definitely made it all worth it. From the top of Flood Mountain, we could see the Grand Mountain summit in the distance, which is where we were headed next. Leg 2 is the most technical and most dangerous leg of the race.
I know it doesn't look steep, but this Billy Goat Trail that we're on, heading to the top of Flood Mountain, is brutal. That's why they call it the Death Race. Not bad. We're at the top of Flood Mountain. Took us about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, somewhere around there. And now we have our checkpoint.
Although the climbs are challenging, for us, the most difficult part of Leg 2 was not going up the mountains, but rather coming back down. The camera simply does not do the course justice in regards to how steep the hills really are. A fall here could definitely end your race early and cause a serious injury, or, in some areas with drop-offs, even death. But this isn't the rainbows and unicorns race, it's the death race. And for most participants that signed up for this, the danger involved is certainly part of the appeal. The final descent down Grand Mountain seems to go on forever. It beats up your quads, and for most people it causes your toes to hit the end of your shoe's toe box, which leads to some pretty brutal toenail trauma and blistering from all of the movement inside of your shoe, especially if your feet are wet, which this year was unavoidable. Arriving back at the road at the bottom of the mountain was a huge relief, and after a descent like that, believe it or not, we were ready for some climbing.
So we're heading down from Flood Mountain on the power line section. I've done a couple different races with power line sections, and every single one of them sucks. This is no different. It's steep, and once we get to the bottom, we gotta go up the other side. I don't know if you can see it. Let me turn around. Back there. We'll get through it. We've now started Leg 3 of the race, just past the 50-kilometer mark of the course. Feeling pretty good. Leg 2 was a real struggle, especially the downhill at the end. But leg 3 is much easier than leg 2, possibly the easiest leg of the course. 19 or 20 kilometers, lots of gentle runnable downhill like what we're on right now. Also, it's the leg where you're most likely to come in contact with a bear. So we're looking out for that.
Runners are allowed to have a drop bag at each of the transition areas between legs. We took at least 15 minutes after leg 2 to replenish our packs with plenty of food and water and to change our socks and shoes, which were soaked. Although I typically try to get through aid stations as quickly as possible, at this race, it's important to make sure that you start each leg fully prepared to be in the wilderness for many hours without support. Leg 3 is one of the easiest legs, and with a net elevation loss of 1,000 feet, runners can move through most of this section quickly if they still have the legs to do so. I used to feel that this leg might just be the easiest leg of the race, but with a new portion added to the end of this leg since the last time I was here, it is now far more challenging. Some of the climbs and descents, although relatively short, are so steep that they require ropes to safely navigate through. We were the last ones to enter the section known as the trench before the cutoffs, as the racers behind us informed us later that a curious black bear followed us into this section, making it too dangerous to enter, and were therefore permitted to take a detour to the next checkpoint. Overall, we moved very well for most of leg 3, but continued to struggle with the steep descents. We knew that we were getting close to the time cutoff, which, new to the race this year, is actually the time that racers leave the checkpoint, not when they enter it. As we got close to the end of the third leg, we hustled as fast as the course would permit and discussed the exact things we would have to do quickly and efficiently while at the aid station. The next leg is by far the longest and requires runners to carry the most food and water. For us, we would also need warmer clothing and our headlamps, as the sun would soon be setting and the temperature would drop. Dark clouds were rolling in, so we also needed to be prepared for the rain, which did hit us during leg 4.
So we're on leg 4 now, Hamel, where we've been climbing Mount Hamel for about an hour. I suspect we have about another 2 hours to go, although right now we have a slight little down section. We got out of the last transition area 4 minutes before the cutoff, so we've kind of been on that bubble, but we've been pushing hard up Hamel, so hopefully we meet the next cutoff.
Leg 4 has racers summit Mount Hamel at just under 7,000 feet above sea level. The ascent is broken up into 2 long climbs with a short but welcome break in between. The final portion is above the tree line and offers incredible views. The descent is not nearly as treacherous or steep as the other 2 mountains, but it is very rocky, and we had the additional challenge of completing this section in the dark. Before starting the race, participants are given a coin that they must carry up until the boat crossing in leg 5. The coin is used to pay the ferryman, like in Greek mythology. If you lose your coin before the crossing, your race is over, as unfortunately, you won't be allowed to cross.
We made the boat.
The boat crossing is a significant checkpoint because it is the final checkpoint before the finish line and means that there's less than 15 kilometers until the end of the race.
Sun's out. It's funny how you feel revitalized once the sun comes up. We're in the final leg. We've been chasing cutoff time all day today. At one point we were as close as 4 minutes. We made the boat crossing with 30 minutes to spare, and it's going to be tight whether or not we get in, so keep on moving.
After crossing the river, there are still some challenging hills to contend with. Now that the sun was finally up, we were able to move a little faster and pushed hard to the finish.
Well,
We are 500 meters from the finish. Just heading back into town right now. And we have 45 minutes to spare. So it was a good last leg for us. But man, that was tough.
Less than 24 hours after starting, we were back in town and we earned our finishing coin and beer. This is Jeff Rowthorn for Get Out There magazine, wishing you happy trails.